Right, Stefano, welcome to UK Fight Site. Thank you for coming down. I've wanted to talk to you for quite a while now. Followed your career from, I guess, the tail end of the amateurs. So it's really good to finally get a chance to sit down with you.
You know, I appreciate it, man. It's nice to come on as well and speak to you about this, you know.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate it. Just to start off with, just want to kind of find out where you're from.
Well, just like ethnicity or just like where area?
Yeah, area.
Yeah. Like, so I'm more based in like West London.
Yeah.
So like I live like Southall, Hounslow area really. Like I've always been around the same sort of area.
Yeah, grew up there?
Yeah.
Yeah. What was it like growing up in that area?
To be honest, it wasn't really that bad. Like it's not a really bad area. Like
Yeah.
you know, it wasn't anything like different to anything else, you know.
Yeah. What was you into as you was growing up? Was you always athletic, or was you just into different things at that time?
So yeah, I was always like into sports and stuff. Like I don't know, I felt like I was naturally talented at like sports, just in general. But the reason why I started this in general was mainly because I would always get into scraps and stuff. Like, but this has taken me out of that.
Yeah.
And I'm happy for that.
So at what age did you kind of start getting into martial arts, or did you fully get involved in mixed martial arts, or did you start off with like karate or a more traditional base?
I started off actually with Thai boxing, like when I was 8, I did.
Yeah.
And I had my first fight when I was 9.
Wow.
But yeah, funny enough, if you watch my fights now, you wouldn't believe it, innit? Because I more like to take people down and stuff.
Yeah, I didn't know you had that background. Yeah. Where did you? What was the gym called that you started off at?
Lumpini. It was a gym in Cyprus. Because another thing I forgot to mention, like a part of my childhood, like I lived in Cyprus for like 3 years.
Right.
Like obviously we came back to England afterwards.
Yeah.
But yeah, I started off over there. Like funny enough, like I don't know if you know one of the guys. One of my first training partners was a guy called Savas Michael. Like fights and won championship.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
wow, and that was in Cyprus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously we both took completely different paths and stuff. But yeah, like hopefully you'll see me coming up soon, like in this.
Brilliant.
You know.
So when you was getting into scraps and you got involved, that was in Cyprus.
Yeah, it was.
So what was that when you started competing? You started competing at 9. You had your first.
Yeah.
And that was in Cyprus.
Yeah, that was all in Cyprus, man.
What was that experience like when you started competing at such a young age? It must have been enjoyable for a kid.
Yeah. So funny enough, I didn't really like. I don't know. I just took to it quite well. Like I didn't feel like I got super nervous for it usually when I was like younger, just because I was very aggressive. Like, and I feel like that's what kind of like helped me with it, because I was more aggressive than the other kids and stuff. Like, but yeah, it was good. Like I enjoyed it a lot.
Was there like inter clubs and like junior championships that you was involved with?
Yeah. So as far as I'm concerned, I don't think I did any inter clubs. I didn't. I just did only actual like fights and stuff. Like I remember when I came to England though, the reason why I didn't continue like mainly with Thai boxing as much was because they didn't like the headshots.
Right.
Basically.
Yeah.
Like they wanted only body shots and stuff, which I just found kind of like a bit bad.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, because I was used to fighting with headshots and stuff. Yeah. So.
What age did you come to the UK? Come back to the UK?
I think I was about like 11.
11.
Yeah, about 11 I was.
Yeah. What would you say was like the major difference of like living in Cyprus and then living in the UK, like growing up?
To be fair, there's a hell of a difference. Like they're quite like I don't want to say it in a bad way, but I feel like they're kind of like a bit behind England in certain things. Yeah. You know, just like just in general. Like it's hard to explain. It's like you have to go there to like know. Right. Yeah. If you get me. But it's still like a nice life over there and stuff. It's like nice weather, like beaches and stuff. Like it's pretty cool. Yeah. Like even like I remember like especially when I was like young, like I was always going out playing football with like other kids and stuff. Like that sort of stuff. It was pretty cool. Like, quite a safe country, innit?
Yeah.
Felt like.
When you come back to the UK, and do you take a little break, or do you start are you hooked at that point with competing and training martial arts and Thai? Do you get straight back into it, or because you said that you was into a lot of different sports? So
Yeah, so I did get back into it as well, like, but it was mainly like K1, like I got back into. And the thing was, I always wanted to do MMA,
right.
but we couldn't find an MMA gym in Cyprus. That's why I went straight to Thai boxing.
Yeah.
Like, so as soon as I came back to England, like I said to my dad that I wanted to do MMA and stuff, like, because especially when I was like a kid, like a toddler sort of thing, like my dad always had that on, and I was always sitting next to him watching it.
Yeah.
Like, and I knew from like a young age that I wanted to do this. Like, even when I was like, well, like in year one or something, or in reception, like, you know, when they ask you what you want to do when you're older, I'd always say I want to be in the UFC.
Oh,
like,
brilliant! From way back, yeah.
Yeah. I've always known.
When you was growing up, like what was who was you watching when it come to like martial arts and the UFC, mixed martial arts?
Yeah, so when I was watching it, there was like obviously Anderson Silva, who was like my favorite of all time. One of them. There was Tito Ortiz and Chuck Liddell as well.
Yeah.
Like Tito was one of my favorite fighters at the time, as well. There was George St. Pierre, like who was also like a beast. Like there's a lot of people that I look up to in it.
Yeah.
But like even Matt Hughes at that time and BJ Penn, like beasts.
That was when I started getting back into it again. When I was younger, I was really into like pro wrestling and the WWF and everything.
Oh yeah.
And it was I'd already seen a tape. A neighbor of mine who was a kickboxer, he borrowed me like UFC 3. I think it was UFC 3. It was like Chemo versus Royce Gracie, and then I discovered that the fighter in there, Ken Shamrock, went to the WWF. So then from there, I was like totally hooked. And then obviously when I got back into it, when you see the production that went in after it got sold, that's when you see Matt Hughes, Tito, Chuck Liddell. So, and the computer games obviously came out at that point. So all hooked again, and we are where we are.
Yeah, no, it is a pretty sick way to get into it, to be honest. So,
yeah,
like, there was a lot of guys like that, like Brock Lesnar was like that as well.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
No, it's pretty good.